Canada, from New France to the British Confederation. Canada is a country that began as a French colony but eventually became part of the British Empire. Its history is one of struggle, wars, cultural clashes, and, ultimately, unification. Let's explore how this happened and why Canada became the country we know today. The beginning, Vikings and the first Europeans. The first Europeans to set foot on the land of modern-day Canada were the Vikings. Back in the 10th and 11th centuries, they established a settlement in a place they called Vinland. This is confirmed by archaeological findings on the island of Newfoundland. However, their colony did not last long. Due to cooling temperatures and conflicts with local tribes, the Vikings left these lands. After the Vikings, Europeans forgot about Canada for several centuries. Everything changed during the Age of Exploration. At the end of the 15th century, the Italian navigator John Cabot, working for England, reached the shores of Newfoundland. But the English were in no hurry to colonize these lands. They were more interested in finding routes to India and China. The French in Canada, the beginning of colonization. The French, England's main rivals, decided not to miss their chance. In 1534, Jacques Cartier embarked on an expedition along the St. Lawrence River and declared these lands the property of France. Thus, New France was born. However, the first attempts at colonization were unsuccessful. France was preoccupied with internal problems and lacked the resources to develop new territories. Everything changed in the early 17th century. The French founded the city of Quebec 1608 and began actively settling the land. They traded with local tribes but did not always find common ground with them. For example, Samuel de Champlain, one of the first colonizers, fought against the Iroquois. The English entered the game. The English began exploring Canada later than the French, but they already had colonies on the east coast of North America. In 1670, they established the Hudson's Bay Company, which began actively developing the Northern Territories. This led to conflicts with the French, who considered these lands their own. Anglo-French Wars. The struggle for Canada. The entire 18th century was marked by wars between England and France. These conflicts also affected Canada. During the 7 Years' War 1756 to 1763, the British emerged victorious, and under the terms of the Treaty of Paris in 1763, France lost almost all its possessions in North America. New France became a British colony. The American War of Independence and Canada. In 1775, the American War of Independence began. The Americans tried to capture Canada, considering it part of their future territory. They even took Montreal but could not hold it. Canada remained under British control. Rebellions in Canada. The fight for rights. In the 19th century, Canada experienced a series of rebellions. French Canadians and English Canadians were dissatisfied with British colonial policies. In 1837 to 1838, armed uprisings took place, but they were suppressed. The formation of the Canadian Confederation. In 1867, Canada became a confederation, a dominion within the British Empire. This was a compromise between French and English Canadians. Canada gained internal self-government, but foreign policy remained under British control. Canada in the 20th century. The path to independence. Canada gradually became an independent state. In 1931, it gained full independence within the British Commonwealth of Nations. Today, Canada is a country with a unique culture where two languages and two cultures, French and English, coexist peacefully. Historical background. Why did Canada become what it is? Canada is the result of a complex historical process. The French and British brought their traditions, but local tribes also played an important role in shaping Canadian identity. Today, Canada is an example of how different cultures can live together. Economic aspect. How did Canada become one of the richest countries in the world? Canada is rich in natural resources, oil, gas, timber, and minerals. This attracts investment and promotes economic growth. Additionally, Canada actively develops high technology and education, making it one of the most developed countries in the world. Opinion. What makes Canada unique? Canada is a country where nature and culture merge into one. Here, you can see the northern lights, walk through dense forests, and enjoy cultural diversity. Canada is a country that respects its roots but looks to the future. The history of Canada is one of struggle, compromise, and unification. From New France to the British Confederation, Canada has come a long way to become one of the most successful countries in the world. And, as Jules Verne said, Canada's connection to its past remains unbreakable, despite all the historical twists and turns.